No Warhammer novel today. Instead, we take a look at Michael Crichton's The Lost World, which is technically a sequel to Jurassic Park, but you can definitely also read it as a standalone. So basically, after the incidents at Jurassic Park, InGen covered everything up. And as far as the common public is aware, dinosaurs are still extinct. There have, however, been reports of strange animal corpses turning up on the beaches in Costa Rica. This, in combination with some other evidence, has led Richard Levine, a brilliant yet obnoxious scientist, to deduce that there are dinosaurs present on Isla Sorna. Naturally, he organizes an expedition to study the dinosaurs, yet everything has to be done quickly and covert, as the government does not want anyone to know about the dinosaurs, and therefore in turn Levine doesn't want the Costa Ricans to know about their presence either. The book then covers their trip to Isla Sorna, which of course doesn't go entirely according to plan, as chaos and karma start to intervene. Before I get on with the review, for those who have seen the movie, this book is nothing like the movie, not even close. The plot, the characters, themes, and even the setting are completely different. You might even place the two in different genres really. The book, like always, is better, so screw the movie and read this instead if you haven't seen it yet. With that out of the way, let's continue with the review. The main thing which I've always liked about Crichton's work is his incorporation of science and scientific research into his books. Most science fiction sounds ridiculously dumb if you know the subject matter, but this book sounds entirely believable once you get over the fact that DNA degrades too fast for InGen to be able to extract dinosaur DNA. As a biotech student, I was genuinely surprised at the accuracy at times. Even learned some interesting concepts about evolutionary biology from it in fact. Again, this is a great refresher from the idiotic crap you see in, for example, the Jurassic World movies. On the other hand, it's quite hard for me to judge if this is something everyone will enjoy. If you aren't all that familiar with the biological sciences, I could imagine much of this might go over your head, and in that case the book might be a bit difficult or even boring. Yet if you're interested in biology, you'll definitely appreciate these parts. Another thing which I liked about The Lost World, and the rest of the Jurassic Park franchise as well, is that there are no real monsters or villains here. Sure, you could argue that the InGen scientists weren't exactly ethical, but they didn't plan to create monsters to kill people. Instead, nature is the antagonist. The dinosaurs cause all sorts of mayhem, but it's not because they are evil. They are just animals hunting and defending their territory. This is not just interesting because it's different from conventional monster stories, but it also raises some interesting themes such as karma and the struggle between humanity and nature. Karma especially plays a big role in the book. Every action, every mistake has consequences, and often these are much more serious than you'd expect. Needless to say, this book contains a fair share of poetic justice. The selection of dinosaurs also deserves some praise. These creatures weren't just randomly selected because they look cool. All species serve a specific role to the story, and all monster archetypes are given a dinosaur representative. From the ever-looming threat of the agile and cunning raptors, to the unstoppable but predictable force of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Monster stories need to have cool monsters of course, and Crichton definitely delivers on that promise. The majority of the characters in this book are scientists, so whether you like them will likely boil down to personal taste. I very much enjoyed their discussions and their analytical attitudes. Especially the way Crichton highlighted the differences between the different fields was something I appreciate. Eddie, for an example, is an engineer, while Ian is a theoretical mathematician, and their fields of study have a pronounced effect on how they view the world and each other, something which anyone who has spent any time at a university will have noticed in real life as well. The only characters I wasn't so fond of were the two kids. Yes, the infamous two kids. Both were stereotypes that didn't really add anything interesting to the story. They merely function as plot devices most of the time, and when they weren't busy saving the day or having to be saved, they were used to lecture morals or exposition against. They didn't ruin the story for me, but I definitely picked them out as a big weak point of this novel. Finally, let's talk about the mysteries. Throughout the book, there are multiple mysteries that the characters are trying to solve, but what's so nice about them is that if you're paying attention, you actually have a fair chance of figuring out some of the answers. So after some pages, I really started to pay attention to every little detail to try and predict what would happen next, which resulted in a very satisfying feeling when you get it right. You also get a quote from Malcolm at the start of each chapter that acts as a symbol for what happens in that chapter. So again, speculate away, my friend. All in all, The Lost World is a novel I very much enjoyed, and one I would definitely recommend to my fellow students. But that's the thing, I would recommend it to students. I'm very unsure about how much you will enjoy this novel if you don't have a scientific background, as you might miss out much of the nuance and realism, in which case there's a considerable chance they'll just be bored by all the sci-fi talk. On the other hand, the book might just spark your interest in biology, which would of course be a plus. You'll have to decide for yourself whether you want to take that gamble or not. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Bye! If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.